All right, what is up, everybody? Divine Hood here, coming at you with another daily update on Bitcoin and the crypto markets. All right, guys, so Bitcoin, we did see a bit of a pump on Sunday and today, but I do want to say Bitcoin is still in real danger here. And even though we haven't lost our value area high, like I explained in my last video, what we needed to watch for over this slow holiday weekend was a continuation and a dump down. And as long as we don't lose 106K, which is the value area high of our macro 6 month range, then Bitcoin is still not in significant trouble. But I do want to give some cautions here on the chart on Bitcoin. So let me go ahead and hide this little range that we're looking at. What we saw on Thursday and Wednesday and Thursday is Bitcoin made a new all-time high on Wednesday. On Thursday, it tried to get above that all-time high and it failed. We saw multiple attempts on lower time frames. Let's go on to the 1 hour chart. Multiple attempts on the 1 hour time frame to break out and discover new all-time highs on Thursday, and we rejected, and then we continued to drop and lose our pitchfork band. Now, this is the smaller pitchfork band on Coinbase, but you can see here what happened over the weekend is we continued to slowly grind down. We actually hit, we bounced from our range point of control. Let's go ahead and zoom out onto the 4 hour now. And let me pull up that range here. This range, you can see we had a naked weekly point of control down here at 108.9. It was our naked weekly point of control that closed yesterday, and we did come down today. We bounced from our range point of control in confluence with our naked weekly point of control. And we are seeing a small bounce here, but what happened before that? Over the weekend, we continued to grind down to about the value area low of our range, and we found a local bottom around 106.6, 106.7, and Bitcoin made a bit of a pump up on Sunday all the way up to our golden pocket. Now, this golden pocket retracement is very, very key. So I'm going to hide this range again and let's talk about this. So Bitcoin started to lose and gained some bearish price action on lower time frames, 2 hour and under. You could even call 4 hour. Let's see if a 4 hour break in structure. Not really a 4 hour break in structure, but we did start to lose some structure here and turn bearish on lower time frames. Well, after seeing that correction throughout the weekend, on Sunday, we started to pump up. And where did we pump to? We pumped getting above the Coinbase all-time high. Now, remember, the Coinbase all-time high was around 109,350. The Bybit all-time high was around 109.9. And look at where we came up to. We came up to our local golden pocket, pulled from our new all-time high. So this is going to be our new all-time high. Pulled from our new all-time high up down to our Sunday lows, and we pumped up to the golden pocket, which you can see was also in confluence with that pitchfork band that we lost over the weekend and on Friday. And we are so far seeing a rejection from that golden pocket. Now, if Bitcoin has put in a significant high and we are about to see a much bigger correction to the downside, well, then oftentimes you look for a dump over the weekend, you come up, you put in a lower high, most commonly at your golden pocket, and then you really start to dump for a wave 3 to the downside, for a bigger continued impulse to the downside. So Bitcoin rejecting from this golden pocket around 110K and it's also the pitchfork band, is a bad sign. And we did come down. We saw a small bounce earlier today from our naked weekly point of control, but so far it's just a small bounce. And you can see we haven't been able to close any significant candles above the VWAP. Bitcoin is in serious trouble here. Now, let's go ahead and go onto our Bybit chart, and I want to talk about our Bybit, bigger, more important Bybit, this guy here, our bigger, more important Bybit pitchfork that we've been watching ever since the all-time highs. For over 6 months, we've been watching this pitchfork. So you can see Bitcoin, we saw that swing failure pattern on Thursday. We dumped down, we lost that pitchfork band. We came back up, not only back tested the pitchfork band, but it was also the back test of the all-time high on Bybit. And you can see here, after seeing our local, let's actually zoom in onto the 1 hour chart here. After losing that pitchfork band and the all-time high, prior all-time high, we came up, we back tested it pretty much to the dollar in this area, and then we failed and made new lows. So Bitcoin is showing bearish price action here, a switch in some momentum here to the bears. Now, after grinding down over the weekend, hitting 106.5, 106.6, We pull our golden pocket on this one as well from the new Thursday's all-time highs down to, and I guess that's the new all-time high, down to our weekend lows. And where did we reject? I just showed you this on the Coinbase chart. I just want to show you on the Bybit chart, but it was our golden pocket. But look at also, it was in confluence with the Bybit all-time high and in confluence with that pitchfork band that we lost. Now, I've been talking about this pitchfork band being a significant resistance for quite a while in my videos. For weeks now, I've been talking about the top and the bottom of the pitchfork band being a real resistance where Bitcoin could see a much bigger correction to the downside. Well, now locally, on local timeframes, more local timeframes, we are losing that pitchfork midline to the downside, not pitchfork band, upper band to the downside. We backtested it once locally, very low time frame, rejected. Now we've came up a second time to backtest it on a higher time frame after seeing some weekend holiday price action, and we are rejecting again from the prior all-time high and from our golden pocket and from our pitchfork band, showing that Bitcoin might be looking for a bigger correction to the downside here, a bigger impulse down. Now, I do not want to sound too alarming right now because as long as we do not lose our value area high of our previous range, Bitcoin is still overall looking good. Let's zoom out here on the charts and let's get some perspective on this. So Bitcoin bounced from our lower band at 74K. We saw a nice impulse and a reclaim back up into that volume profile, into our fair value for Bitcoin over the past 6 months. And we saw a small rejection from point of control, made a higher low, and we were able to get back above that point of control and come all the way up to the value area high. Now, we chopped around for a week around the value area high, and we broke it to the upside, hit into our significant band of resistance that I've been warning about for weeks. Now, I still do think we can make it to the top of the band. Let me say that right now, to the top of the pitchfork band. Now it's going to be around 114.6, 114, 114, 115, depending on how soon we get there. But you can see this. Bitcoin lost that band with a nice daily bearish engulfing candle. And then we've come back up, back tested our golden pocket. And so far we are seeing a bit of a rejection from that golden pocket. Now, what that means is that we could see a bigger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a bigger impulse down, maybe even down to 97K, 98K here, 97K, excuse me, where that point of control is, and start to come back within our volume profile, our fair value of Bitcoin over the past 6 months. Now, if we do re-enter back within this volume profile, that is not going to be a good thing for Bitcoin. It will show that maybe this was just a deviation of the range. And if we fall back within this range, we have a high likelihood of at least dumping 97K. But if we lose 97K, we do have a likelihood to fill that volume profile again to come all the way back down to the value area low around 87K. Okay, now let's go ahead and pull our golden pocket from the 74K lows up to our new all-time highs. Well, where is our golden pocket coming in at? Our macro golden pocket retracement is coming in right around that value area low. If we go on the Coinbase chart, which I do like the Coinbase chart better, and we look at that same volume profile, let's go ahead and grab, what am I doing here? Let's grab that volume profile, that macro range, and let's go ahead and pull that Fibonacci again from the 74K lows up to our new all-time highs, and look at where on Coinbase, the value area low of our bigger, larger 6-month volume profile of our fair value of Bitcoin over the past 6 months, that value area low is in perfect confluence with that macro golden pocket. So here's the thing, guys. Bitcoin overall is still looking pretty good. We're above the value area high. And as long as we remain above the value area high of our macro range, of our 6-month range, it has the potential for more upside. But we are seeing the first signs of a rejection, a bearish engulfing candle, a back test on a lower high of that pitchfork band and the golden pocket. And we're so far starting to reject that. Now, if we reject that and we lose 106K, Bitcoin can absolutely come all the way down to 97K to 96.5K to hit that point of control. If we bounce from the point of control, great. We can maybe work our way up to make new all-time highs again. But if we lose 97 to 96.5, then we do have a high likelihood of coming all the way back down to 89, 88K. Okay, now That is what we're looking at for Bitcoin right now. We did, like I said, we did bounce from that naked weekly point of control earlier today. So let me go ahead and throw the hourly chart back on. And now I'm just going to delete this naked weekly point of control because I just left it on there to show you guys. That's why we're bouncing. After rejecting from our golden pocket, we came down to our naked weekly point of control. We saw a small bounce there, but we're kind of failing. And look at, we're starting to come, we're right around the Coinbase previous all-time high. So let me actually do this. Let's come into settings here and let's just make this um, previous all-time high. Okay, there we go. Now, if Bitcoin starts to close the daily candles, maybe today's daily candle, which just opened 8 minutes ago. So, but if we start to close daily candles back below the both value area high of Coinbase and of Bybit, which we are below Bybit's value area high already, we could at least work our way down to 106K to backtest that value area high, which we really haven't backtested since we've broken out of it. So what I'm looking for now is a bigger three-wave corrective move to backtest 106K. If we bounce and hold it as support, yeah, we can make our way up much higher. If we fail and we come back within that volume profile, we might see a small bounce at this pitchfork midline. But overall, I do expect us to drop down. There's a few levels to look at on the charts as far as local support levels. So let's zoom out to the 4-hour chart and we can pull a Fibonacci from our last big lows of the range to our new all-time high and around 105K to 106K. So that you can see around 105K is where that pitchfork midline is going to be coming in, because by the time we make our way down to that pitchfork midline, it is going to be right where that golden pocket is. So I would say 105K is a decent resistance, decent support level, being the pitchfork midline in confluence with golden pocket. So let's do this. This is going to be golden pocket / pitchfork midline. Okay, and I do believe, let's see if we have that any naked daily point of controls there. No naked daily point of controls there, but we do have a naked daily point of control. You guys can see right on 106K, right where that value area high is. So value area high could absolutely act as a support for Bitcoin. And let's double check our naked weekly points of controls. Okay, no naked weekly points of controls there. Weekly levels, we don't have any new weekly levels. And let's check our daily levels here. Okay, we do have a new daily level up about 111.7, but that's I'm not going to be looking at that until we break our golden pocket, break above 110.3. But yeah, Bitcoin, guys, is in a little bit of some trouble here, or I guess we should say we can have some concern for Bitcoin now, because we've broken market structure bearishly locally, and now we've come up and rejected from the lower high golden pocket. So does that mean a new lower low is coming in? And we could look at 106K for support. We could look at 105K for support. And then if we lose 105K and we look at our liquidation heat map, really the majority of the liquidity is resting right around 100.8, which is below these range lows here. 100.8 right in this area. All of this range from last week, actually from May 8th through like May 19th, so this 10 days here, this range that we were in prior is going to be the liquidity resting below this range. We could dump all the way to grab that liquidity, and then we could continue to form a much bigger range between that 112 and 100K area. So those are some ideas I'm going to be watching here on Bitcoin. I do just want to give that warning about Bitcoin. Now, if we look at our oscillators here, NAMI is showing more prints of hidden bull divs, guys, on this drop throughout the holiday weekend, which is a bullish signal. Anytime I've seen NAMI print these hidden bull divs, we do continue to get pushes to the upside. So we did print a hidden bull div on Friday. You can see we made a decent low there and came back up to backtest the Coinbase all-time high. Okay, we rejected after losing the Coinbase high. We rejected from that all-time high after losing it. But we saw the hidden bull div give us a signal that we were at least going to pump up to backtest that all-time high. Then over the weekend, we continued to drop, and you can see here on Sunday, we came down and we SFPs, we did a local liquidity grab of Friday's lows, and then we saw that bigger pump to the golden pocket. So overall, I would say Bitcoin, I'm looking at, so when I look at this range here, if we zoom in on the hourly chart, I'm looking at all the price action above the value area high at 106K. So if we look at just this range that's forming above the all-time value area high, we can turn on that volume profile and we can just look at playing the range until it breaks. Okay, so now I am just going to be looking at, okay, if we do come down again and we hit into our value area low, we could see a swing failure pattern of Sunday's lows. Remember, it is a weekend low. So we do have weekend lows into the value area low. But at that point, I would like to come down just a bit more to hit 106K, which is the back test, the bullish back test of our macro range value area high. And we also have that naked daily point of control right there. And then if we do reclaim, if we start to pump up, if we hold this point of control that we're seeing a small bounce from, and that was also our naked weekly point of control, and we start to reclaim the value area high, which is where you can see our golden pocket that we just rejected from as well. If we start to reclaim that and get back within this band and flip it to support, I do expect us to continue at least to the top of the band at 112.5, but I would actually be looking at our much bigger band. Let's go on to the Bybit chart now, and let's look at the Bybit pitchfork. And if we start to reclaim, this golden pocket that we just rejected from and flip it to support, I expect us to make our way up to the top of the band around 114.4, up to 114.7, depending on time. So that's what I'm looking for Bitcoin. Let's hourly chart. No bull divs on Market Cipher B, no bear divs really here. We were seeing those bear divs on the SFP on Thursday, and that gave us a confirmed 1 hour bear divs. We got that drop. Now let's go ahead and zoom out onto the daily chart, and let's look at our momentum waves. I did talk about this confirmed triple drive of bear div on the daily chart. Well, NAMI also was seeing those bear divs on the daily, money flow bear divs on the daily. NAMI, the money flow is back in the green on the daily, but I just want to caution, we are, money flow on Market Cipher B is rising again, which is a good thing. We did say these triple drives, these multiple drives of bear divs are not going to truly play out on Bitcoin until we really start to see a big dump and continuation of money flow leaving the asset. So if you are a bull, you should be at least a little bit happy that we see money flow on the daily time frame rising on Market Cipher B. That is a good bullish sign. NAMI is showing money flow rising as well, but not as strong, and we are creating some divergences here on money flow as well, bearish divergences on money flow. So I just want to warn that. This golden pocket retest at 110K is really, really key, and you can see we did reject from it earlier today, but no daily red candles, and we were still able to close our daily candle green that just closed about 15 minutes ago. If we look on, let's go onto the 8 hour chart here. Money flow is starting to come out of the asset again. You can see on Market Cipher B, it's topped out and it's starting to come down. And on NAMI, it has crossed over into the red as soon as we rejected from that golden pocket. We did get that hidden bull print like on the 4 hour chart. We also got it on the 8 hour chart. So maybe we are going to hold the 106K and then continue up to 114.5. That is something that I'm going to be watching for. I'm only looking for trades at my levels. So at 106K, at 105K, I'll be looking for support. If we lose that, I'll be looking at 100K. If we bounce from 106K, I will be looking up to 114, 115, depending on time. Okay, that's about it for Bitcoin, guys. As far as, that's about it for the price action. Now, if we look at our open interest chart here, open interest in CBD, you can see that this is the 15-minute chart here for Bitcoin, and we are kind of seeing some bullish absorption on the charts. The open interest looks really crappy, really confusing right now, very jiggity, zigzag-ish, but we are seeing from Sunday's lows, we do see higher lows on the price action. We do see lower lows on the CBD, just barely, but lower lows. And our open interest isn't looking the best, though. We saw a giant drop in open interest and then a giant rise in open interest. So I would say that No real good signal that our CVD absorption chart is giving us, but we are seeing a little bit of CVD bullish divs forming. Okay, that is it for Bitcoin. Now let's go on to Ethereum. And guys, Ethereum as well. Ethereum is now holding up pretty well against Bitcoin. And I did talk about this. So first off, let's go into the Bitcoin dominance chart because Bitcoin dominance has been a big thing. And we talked about if we reject from this golden pocket, remember this golden pocket was pulled after seeing a significant drop after hitting the top of our channel that we've been in since March of 2023. We saw a significant drop on dominance, came to the midline overall on the daily chart, held the midline. Actually, I think it was the 2-day chart. Let's go to the 2-day chart. You can see we held that midline after chopping within this channel, hit the top, came down to the midline, held the midline, came up to our local golden pocket. And if we were going to see a lower high come in for dominance where it would drop and altcoins could get a rally against Bitcoin, we really need to reject from this golden pocket /786 area. Now, we did start to see a small rejection from the golden pocket. If I zoom back in onto the 2-hour chart, let me get rid of that chicken scratch. We did see a small rejection from the golden pocket and made some new lows, locally, very locally, made some new lows. But now we are rising again on Bitcoin dominance, and you can see we're breaking above that golden pocket. So if we make it up to the 786, we could see that big final rejection and we could drop and see a big rally in altcoins. And the reason why I say this is altcoins are holding up pretty well. So let's go back to Ethereum. Let's talk about Ethereum here. So Ethereum is still just in its range that we have been in for about 2 weeks on Ethereum since May 10th. So yeah, a little over 2 weeks. Ethereum's been ranging around this pitchfork band, this bigger pitchfork band. You can see on Sunday, we came down to the value area low of the range. We bounced from the value area low. It is holding up pretty well. We do have a new weekly level that just closed at 24.98. That is going to be a fresh weekly level that we can see, or actually, I think that was, let's see here. Let's go on to the weekly. Let's just double check this. Yeah, this weekly level just confirmed about 20 minutes ago. So brand new weekly level on Ethereum we could look at for support. If we zoom back in onto the hourly chart, we just play the range until it breaks, right? We did front run that high on Thursday. We hit into the very top of our pitchfork band. I did show this to you guys in Thursday's video, and that's where we got our rejection. So we have sort of a double top on Ethereum where we could finally come up one more time into our purple box of resistance that we've been watching up to that weekly around 28.19 and see a rejection from hitting into our purple box, which I still do think is a possibility. But seeing us consolidate in this range for over 2 weeks right before this purple box, I would not be surprised if we no longer get a reaction here and we continue all the way up to 3100 where we have the top of the pitchfork in confluence with a naked weekly point of control between 31 and $3,300. Okay, so a couple things I'm looking at here on Ethereum. Let me hide this range for a second and we'll talk about, and I'm just gonna hide this new weekly. We'll get that out of the way real quick. Ethereum came up into this pitchfork band. We had our first initial rejection from the log golden pocket in confluence with a naked monthly point of control, and that was on Tuesday, May 13th. Then last Thursday, we came up, we hit double topped it pretty much, not quite. We didn't grab the liquidity, but we hit into the top of that pitchfork band, which we'd front run that Tuesday. And now we are continuing to kind of just grind sideways within our range. But if we are going to see this top on Tuesday, May 13th as a bigger significant top hitting into that logarithmic golden pocket, then we could look at this whole dump down last week as a wave. This whole push up is a B flat. And then if we're going to see a C wave come down in a bigger flat correction, then we can be looking at our 1-to-1 Fibonacci target down to our 1.236. Well, look at where our 1-to-1 is at 23.18. We would grab the liquidity of our range lows into that 1-to-1 target. So I will be watching an SFP into that 1-to-1 target as a potential support level on the charts as a flat correction level. So let's go ahead and just throw a little box here. We could say SFP into ABC target. Okay. And that is going to be one area that I will be looking at. Let's go ahead and actually set an alert here so that if that happens, we can catch that. But overall, I'm still just playing the range on Ethereum. So we do have a double top above us at the highs of the range, which that is liquidity that's begging to be taken. And then we also have our correction, the lows of the range. We have a correction target down there for a flat correction, and then we could work our way up to $3,100 to $3,300. Now we do have a new naked weekly point of control at 2118. We'll have to keep that in mind. That is going to be a big target. And then, of course, we still have our last box of support way down here between $2,000 and $2,100, $2,110, where we do have a naked daily point of control. We have a golden pocket. We have our pitchfork midline. We have a weekly. We have a naked weekly point of control. And we also have an anchored VWAP. So let's go ahead and add that. That's the anchored VWAP from the lows. Okay. So that is going to be a significant level of support if Ethereum loses this range and continues to see downside. I will be looking at that area as a level of support to look for longs. Now, to the upside, our purple box is still above us. In this purple box, we do have the pitchfork band, we have a daily, and we have our previous range value area low, our more upper range up here, that value area low of our previous range. But I would actually be looking because we've been consolidating right below this resistance, the only level I'm really watching in this is that weekly at 28.19. So there is a possibility that we come up, grab those double highs into the weekly, and then see a rejection, lose this range, and start to see a bigger dump. But what I think now could be more probable based off of us overall holding the anchored VWAP from our cycle highs from $4,100. We're holding that anchored VWAP as support. So what's more likely, because when you consolidate like this below resistance, it's actually a bullish thing. You're consolidating right below resistance. Oftentimes you'll allow enough consolidation for the indicators to reset, for sentiment to reset, and then you make another run up, pushing through that level of resistance, not even really seeing reactions, and making it up to your next major level of resistance, which is $3,100 to $3,300. Where our non-log golden pocket is, we have the top of our pitchfork, and we have a naked weekly point of control up there. So that is going to be an area where I will be looking for potential shorts and a potential bigger rejection. This guy here, let's make this purple because that is going to be, there we go. And we can just put in naked weekly POC slash. Okay, so that is an area of resistance that I will be watching on Ethereum. That's about it for Ethereum. It's just ranging. It's looking pretty good overall. And let's go zoom out onto the daily. Actually, it's not it. Let's look at our indicators real quick on Ethereum. And you can see here, no real bear divs on Ethereum on the daily, and money flow is rising back up on the daily, which is nice. We did get a couple of hidden bull signals print. We had one last Thursday, and then we had one on Saturday, May 25th, which was over the weekend. Coming into these lows, we had a hidden bull signal print on the daily, which is why we're getting some pumpage here. Now, let's go one more time onto a different Ethereum chart. And I want to talk about this Ethereum chart as well. And I know I have all my levels turned on here. I will just... let's just talk about the pitchfork here. So you can see the pitchfork, the bigger pitchfork. This is a bullish pitchfork pulled from our bear market lows up to our cycle highs, down to our cycle lows of this cycle on a bigger time frame, a bigger daily bullish pitchfork. We had some chop for a couple weeks within the band, was able to bust above it, get above that midline. We are overall holding that midline as support. So what's the next logical step is to work our way up to the band, which you can see the band of resistance is right around, the bottom of the band is right around that 3,300 area where we have naked daily point of control. We have a daily level. We have naked weekly points of control in there. And it's the top of our bearish pitchfork. So 31 to 3,300 is a big level of resistance for Ethereum on the charts. And we also do have to keep in mind that we have not completed our potential double 1-2 impulse on Ethereum. So 1, 2, 1, 2. This is our big 3, 4. Maybe this was a 5. Let's actually check on this chart. Did Bybit put in a new high? No, it did not. It double topped. So maybe this is a flat correction in a wave 4. We're going to come down now and take these lows out, which I did talk about would be our flat correction, our ABC flat correction of this last 2 weeks range at 23.19, and then see a 5 coming up to 28.19, seeing a small rejection, 4, 5, and ending that double 1-2 at 3,000, 3,100, 3,300. So that's what I'm looking at still on Ethereum overall. Ethereum's looking pretty bullish. Okay, Solana. Solana is still chopping around as well. Let's go zoom in on the 2-hour chart. We are still ranging within Solana's range. And you can see over the weekend, we expected not a lot to happen. It's a holiday weekend. We came up, we dropped over the weekend pretty much to our value area low of the range. We front ran it just barely, saw a bounce, and we've come up pretty much to the value area high of the range and saw a rejection. Now, we have not hit our golden pocket yet, our lower high golden pocket like Bitcoin rejected from, but it's just still ranging. And here, once again, guys, if we pull the golden pocket, you can see that's where we bounce. That's why we bounce where we bounce on yesterday. Our last Sunday's lows, so Sunday, May 18th, last Sunday's weekend lows, we pumped pretty much all week on Solana, made a new high on Solana on Friday, whole bullish week, and then we started dropping on Friday throughout the weekend, back tested the golden pocket. We're seeing a bit of a push up from that golden pocket, but so far we're not seeing any significant push up. We're just pushing up to the value area high of our range and seeing a bit of a rejection. So overall, Solana's looking good, pretty good. And I do want to say, just like I said with Ethereum, oftentimes when you consolidate right below a major resistance like this, you will see if it does decide to break out to the upside, you will see that breakout and it will break straight through this resistance. So this resistance above from 194, 193 to 200 is a big resistance, but we could break all the way up to $220, 220 to 225. $220 to $225 where our next major golden pocket is, and that's the non-log golden pocket. But we still have not, we have to tackle the resistance in front of us first. So I am still looking at 193 to 200 for a potential short level. If we make it up here and start to reject from this area, I will look for a short. And then as far as our supports to the downside, let's go ahead and turn on our support boxes here. You can see we do have this support box in here, a point of control of our previous range. Well, it's a point of control of our big macro range that's going on for 15 months. We have a weekly level down there. We have our 886 Fibonacci from our range, our previous range lows up to our new highs. We have the anchored VWAP that's coming in there as well. So that is between 146 and 144. We also have some new naked daily points of controls. Let's turn on naked weeklies. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. We do have a couple naked daily point of controls in here as well. So let me do this. And we're just going to add on here naked daily POCs. So we have a couple naked daily POCs. That's why it's plural. Okay. That is a major support level I'll be looking at. But before we get there, if I turn on our new naked weekly points of controls, you can see that we do have a new naked weekly point of control at 168.11, and that is right below our value area low of our range. So we could see tomorrow, because we did have a weekend low, this low that we created here is a weekend low, and so it would be acceptable to come down, hit into our naked weekly point of control, pretty much overall stay within this range, and see a liquidity grab of weekend lows into a naked weekly point of control, and then at least a push up to our local golden pocket that we still haven't hit yet. And we'll have to re-pull that golden pocket because we'll have formed a new local low. But yeah, I do think Solana overall is still looking pretty good here. And I will be looking for potential scalp long. Now be aware, scalp long around the value area low and naked weekly point of control. So value area low / naked weekly POC. Let me get that in there. Okay. And that is going to be a support. So we'll make it green. But this is local, guys. If Bitcoin starts to break down, this will not hold and we will dump significantly much more. Okay. That is it for Solana. Let's go on to Sui. Now, Sui is just continuing to range as well. We for the past, since April 25th, so a month now. We've been in a bigger sideways range, but I was looking at this once we broke out of this smaller range here and we broke up with some impulsive price action up to this range. We were looking at them as two separate ranges. Well, now we're falling back within this first range here, this lower range, and now we can look at both of them as one range together. We pull our volume profile and we just go here and look at this range. And we are below the value area low of that range, which is a bad sign. You can see we're trying to bounce from it, but very, very locally here, we're below it and we're actually rejecting it now. So I do expect that SUI could continue down, and you can see we have a fresh naked weekly point of control at 298. We could come down below our range lows at, what is this, 311, and into that naked weekly point of control and see a bounce from there. But let's now look at, actually, let me leave that on there. Let's get rid of this for a second, and let's pull our Fibonacci from the lows to the highs of this range. Okay, golden pocket's been broken. Let's look at our 786. Yeah, 786 is going to be coming in. Now, 786 is below our value area low of the range. If we look at both of these as one range here, it is below the value area low, but it is, you know, kind of support of Sunday's weekend lows. Now, remember, weekend lows, guys, I just will harp over and over and over. Weekend lows often get taken out. And technically, today is considered a weekend because it's a holiday. It's Memorial Day. So the markets aren't open. But what I would be saying is, if we lose this 786, I pretty much am looking at least for a liquidity grab of 311, but it could be much, much lower. And we did end, if we look locally from that last low last Tuesday, 1, 2, 3. Oh, wait, where was it? Okay. We did have a completed impulse here. A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Completed impulse on SUI. And now we are starting to grind down. But overall, this whole range looks pretty corrective to me. And it does look like altcoins are looking a bit stronger and holding up in their ranges a bit more compared to Bitcoin. And so if Bitcoin can at least even just range above the value area high for a bit, altcoins could see a breakout. We need dominance to start to reject from that 786. Now, if we lose the 786 at 336, we're going to probably grab the liquidity at 311, and we could even come down to $3. But really, I'd be looking at this golden pocket down here at 270 to 261. There is not too much else there, but it is looking like a pretty good level. If we zoom out here, let's go on to the daily chart. And yeah, it is. Okay, so here's our bigger impulse that has completed. And this is what has me worried on SUI. If we look from our lows that in April 7th, we have a very clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave structure that has an impulsive structure on the daily that has completed. So now that we have completed an impulsive structure on the daily, we are going to be looking for some sort of correction. Now, the most common type of correction is a zigzag ABC correction, and that zigzag ABC correction often retraces to your golden pocket. That is why I'm going to be watching this golden pocket here as a potential support level where we could look for a potential swing long on this thing. Now, I do like a little bit lower. You can see I have this green box on the chart, and I even said spot buy. It is going to be the point of control of our range that we've been in since October, actually. It is also a fresh monthly level down here, and I do believe we have some other support levels in here. Let's see. Yeah, I think we have a naked weekly point of control in there as well. So we'll have to look at that. Let's just do that here. Okay, no, our naked weekly point of control is a bit lower. It's at our weekly level. So we have a fresh weekly level in confluence with a naked weekly point of control at 211, 210. If we come down that far, though, we're probably going to come, you know, we might see a bounce from there. Let's actually look at our 786. Okay, 786 is also going to be in this box of support, but it would probably be close. Yeah, and our 886 is below that weekly. So that weekly and naked weekly at 211 is going to be a decent level, but be careful because we'd be, you know, coming down pretty far on this weekly impulse here, or daily impulse up. We want to see a correction in a higher low. All right, let's turn that off. So that is pretty much it for SUI. Now you can see on SUI on the daily, we were seeing those bear divs coming into the top of our daily impulse. Multiple drives of bear divs on NAMI, multiple drives of bear divs on Market Cipher B, money flow crossing into the red on the daily, money flow crossed over into the red on the daily on SUI, showing that we could get a bigger correction. Now, one of the things I'm going to be watching for is a move down to take this liquidity in an A wave. Then we'll look for a B wave to the local golden pocket retrace, and then a big C wave all the way down to our 270 golden pocket. And that will take time. This is on the daily time frame, so that could take a few weeks to play out. But I do think SUI could continue to see more downside here. Okay, that is it for SUI. Now let's go on to XRP. XRP is still just chopping within its range that it's been in since December. Yeah, December, the beginning of December here. You can see that we did reject from the value area high and the top of the channel. I've showed this in many, many videos here. As far as we're just playing the range still, but we have a couple ranges on XRP. So let's go in here and let's turn off our large range and let's look at our intermediate range. So this range goes from after the dump. Let's actually pull this to the day after the dump, that big dump that we saw the first week of February, all the way. And you can see that we have a naked weekly point of control in confluence with that range point of control at 213. We also have a golden pocket down below us at $2, pretty much $2 to $1.97 in confluence with another naked weekly point of control. So those are going to be the two support levels that I'm really watching here on XRP that are very local. So we'll do this. This is going to be POC slash. And then let's also look at, do we have any new daily levels there? No new daily levels there. Looks like we're dropping to a new daily level right now. We do have a weekly level right next to that as well. So let's actually pull this up to that weekly. Okay, so our first level of support that I'm looking at on XRP is going to be between 215 and 213. Okay. So yeah, between 215 and 213, really, we have that naked weekly point of control in confluence with a weekly level. I will look for there for a potential long. And then also I do like, yes, we have a fresh weekly at 207 and we have some liquidity into that weekly level, this internal liquidity grab. But I actually like the golden pocket into the naked weekly point of control better. So let's do this. Let's pull this here. And this is going to be GP slash. Value area low is close by. So we'll also mark out value area low. Let's actually turn off those weeklies for a second and let's look at, ooh, we do have a fresh monthly. Okay. Let's look at the bigger range. So let's turn off on the large range. Let's turn off the small range. Ooh, okay. You know what? I do see another level of support that I like because this large range, the value area low of that range is at 207. Well, what else do we have at 207? Let's turn on our monthlies. We have a monthly close by. Let's turn on our weeklies. We have a weekly right on top of it pretty much. So I'm going to look at a support level being between 208 and 207. This is going to be a monthly, a weekly, and value area low of our large range. Remember, we rejected value area high, right? Let's just play the range until it breaks. We've been in this range for 6 months, almost 6 months. Rejected value area high, losing point of control. What's the most probable scenario? To work your way down to the value area low. So at 208 to 207, we could find major support and bounce. Now, we probably will see a small bounce from this area, and then we might continue dropping down. But that's where I'll be looking at. 208 would be a first major area for a potential swing long. And then, of course, at $2. That is about it for XRP. I mean, we're just still continuing to range. I do expect more downside on SUI. I do expect more downside on XRP. It's just, it looks like it wants to happen. So that's what I'm going to be looking for. Let's Okay, and now let's go into link, chain link last. Chain link, okay, so I have a lot of levels turned on chain link right now. Let me turn some of these off. We do have a fresh weekly up at 17.1. You can see that we did reject our lower high golden pocket. Now, I talked about that on Thursday. Let's delete that golden pocket now. And since Thursday, we've been chopping down and dropping down. What we did, though, let's make sure, let's turn on our naked weekly point of control. We did bounce from a naked weekly point of control down here at 14.9. You can see that was a naked weekly point of control. We hit into that naked weekly point of control and we bounced. That was where our Sunday low was, bouncing from a naked weekly point of control. Now, let me turn that off now. Seeing a bounce from the naked weekly point of control, but we're still just ranging. And what we can look at on Chainlink is to grab this range here. This range goes back to May 8th. And we are back inside our volume profile. But not only that, let's think in terms of the pitchfork. So our pitchfork level, our band was acting as resistance here. We broke above it. It was holding as support. You see, we came down over the weekend, saw a deviation back inside that band over the weekend. But then now we've reclaimed the band and it looks like we're trying to hold it as support all day today. Look at all those lows down here near that band of support. So Chainlink does look like it wants to continue to push up a bit higher. If we do a Fibonacci pull from Thursday's highs down to the Sunday's lows, this weekend lows, let's turn on our golden pocket. Okay, golden pocket is a little bit above our new naked daily point of control. We do have a new naked daily point of control at 16.1. And then let's pull that range again and let's look at this range. Okay, I do think that our range point of control in confluence with our golden pocket at 16, that's going to be our local resistance above us. This guy here, and this is going to be POC/GP. Okay, and we will make that purple. That's our local range resistance. And then to the downside, I would say we're kind of at support right now with the pitchfork band and our value area low. I would say that's our local support. Let's pull a Fibonacci from Sunday's lows to today's highs. Yeah, okay. I would say, because we haven't come down to our golden pocket, and I would say our support level is going to be right around this area here. Let's just move this over a bit, and we'll make that green. That is going to be local support, guys. Now, if we start to see aggressive price action, this is going to get busted through so quickly. So, and I would actually even pull this down to that naked daily. We're going to do this. This is value area low, golden pocket / naked daily POC. Other than that, Chainlink is continuing to range. Not a lot has happened. Kind of boring. We expected a boring weekend, and it's been boring for the past couple weeks. But I do think Chainlink, if it can hold this pitchfork band that we've been struggling with, we were struggling with it for a full, couple of weeks. In here, we busted above it, and now we're holding above it overall for the past couple of weeks. We can work our way up to the value area high of our range in confluence with the naked daily point of control and our pitchfork midline around $20.5 to $21. And I do think Chainlink overall still looks pretty strong here. If we lose this range that we've been creating for the past couple of weeks, our support level is the same support level I gave you guys on Thursday, around 14.2 to 14.1, where we have our much larger 786. We have our much larger point of control. We have a pitchfork band, the bottom of the pitchfork band. We have our ABC target down there. If this is a bigger ABC correction, with this first drop being an A wave, this being a B wave, and then a C wave down. And then we also have, point of control ABC 786. Okay, so I do think that 14.2 to 14 or 14.3 to 14.1 is going to be our next big support level. Okay, guys, that is it today. If you guys got anything out of this video, please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Also, I do have a couple partners of the channel. BYDFI, they are a non-KYC, non-VPN exchange. All you need is an email and a password. They are giving up to 15% bonus cashback on your initial deposit, up to $1,000 cash back, and you'll get 15% cash back of whatever you deposit. Also, they are offering up to $8,100 in futures trading bonuses, depending on how much volume you trade. And they do have discounts on trading fees, up to 17% discounts if you use my affiliate link, or 17% is the starting discount if you use my affiliate link, but you can get up to 45% discounts depending on how much you deposit. So that link is in my description. The next partner of the channel is MEXC. They are offering 10% cash back on your initial deposit and up to $20,000 in futures trading bonuses, depending on how much you trade. And then third is I do have the NAMI, which is a new indicator down here. Now, the creator of NAMI has given me a discount code running only through the end of this month. So a few more days here, but offering 65% discount on NAMI lifetime. So that is link is in the description for NAMI, and the discount code is Divine65. That is also in the description. That is only running until the end of the month. So if you are interested in NAMI, this is the biggest discount he's ever given, and it will probably be the biggest discount that he'll ever give. So 65% off, link in the description. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys all had a good holiday weekend, Memorial Day weekend. If you're not celebrating Memorial Day, I just hope you had a good weekend anyways, and I will see you guys tomorrow.